Alright, so we got through stage 1 without having too much of an issue. Stage 2 was a complete disaster class, and of course stage 3 I got 6 picks correct. So we've been all over the board here, but it's time to lock in the playoffs. So before we jump into that, I want to thank today's sponsor, Skins Monkey. For those of you that don't know, Skins Monkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code TACTICS on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out Skins Monkey today. Let's get back into the video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started by making a quick tier list. I always like to make these before I look at the opening matchups, just so that I have a nice unfiltered opinion of how I'm ranking these teams. Once we take a look at the opening matchups, then we'll actually lock those picks in game. So let's go ahead and get started with Na'Vi. I think they've looked pretty good up to this point. They had a rough second map against Spirit, but other than that, I think they've looked like a strong Na'Vi. I think they have a potential to make it towards the semifinals. Finals, I'm not too sure. We'll have to look at the matchups. I don't see them lifting the trophy here, but hey, this is a roster we've seen win a major in CS2. We've seen them be the best team in the world for quite a long time. Of course, that was months ago. I guess maybe even a year ago to this point. But I still have enough faith in them to be able to put them in A tier after a strong showing through stage 3 like that. Moving on to a team like Furia, pretty similar. I think they have a nice amount of potential. I could see them making the semis, maybe not lifting the trophy. I think they have some unproven talent in Moladoy. Yakinder's been a little shaky, but other than that, the Furia core, Fallen, Cacerado, and Yuri, they've been looking pretty good. I think Fallen has impressed me on the rifle. So overall, I think this is a team you could put at the back of A tier. For now, I'm going to put them in B tier, and we'll see how we're looking after that. Now, when it comes to Pain, I think I'm going to end up putting them in C tier. I hate underestimating them because they keep on surprising me, but against all of these different teams here, I just don't see them lifting a trophy at all. It would be surprising if they made it past the opening round, unless they go up against a team like Furia, maybe the Mongols. But to be completely honest, I think C tier is where they're going to be sitting at. The reason it only goes down to C is because I think all the teams up to this point deserve to be here. I think they could definitely make a little bit of a run, but I just don't really see Pain making it all too far. Now, Vitality, on the other hand, definitely are going to be going right here into S tier. I think they are the favorites to win this major, even after they dropped that best of 1 to Legacy. They recovered by pretty much dominating their way to the 3-1 slot. I think they're a team that should certainly be making it to the finals at the very least. Now, there's been a lot of upsets in this major, so I'm not going to bet a ton of money on that, but out of all the teams here, I think they are still the best in the world. Now, to me, the Mongols have looked a little bit disappointing. Not terrible, but I expected them to qualify a little bit sooner than the very last day. So that inclines me to put them just towards the top of B tier. Them and Furia are pretty close in my opinion. I think I'm going to give Furia the edge here just because of how much they dominated through stage 3, and they've had time, such as stage 2, to get a little more comfortable together as a team. So I think I'm going to put Mongols towards the back of B tier at the moment. And then that brings us on to the other disappointing team, which has been Mouse. I mean, had Mouse qualified 3-0, 3-1, I'd probably be putting them in S tier. They're the only team that I've seen really challenge Vitality. They've beaten Spirit. I think it's the only team other than Vitality that Spirit has lost to. So as much as I want to put them pretty high up, even in A tier, I think I'm going to put them in B. And I think that's really going to drop the Mongols down to C tier. And I know that may be a little bit controversial to people, but that's just kind of how I see it. Even though Mao's didn't look great on day 1, they never lost a best of 3. They were pretty close, but they did manage to win every single best of 3 that they played. I think they'll power up on the stage, to be completely honest. And then, of course, that brings us over to Team Spirit, which is obviously an S tier team. They dominated 3-0, just as a lot of people, including myself, expected. Had them on my picks. Donk looked great. I could see them picking up a second major trophy. I mean, it's a very realistic possibility that Team Spirit end up just going back-to-back here. I think that's something people haven't talked about as much. Obviously, Vitality have kind of owned them, but if there's any time for them to show improvement, it's right now, and they've looked really strong. So this is Vitality's major to lose, and it's definitely one that Spirit I could see stealing right away from them. And then, of course, that leaves us with FaZe. And it looks like I'm probably going to put them in A tier, but I don't really think so. I think FaZe are a little shaky. Who am I going to put over FaZe, though? That's tough to say. I think Furia maybe belong... It's pretty close. I'm going to be completely real. I'm a little overconfident in FaZe right now. seeing Simple play well throughout stage 3 and seeing them 2-0 the Mongols. They beat Mouse. So, I mean, to be completely real with you, I think they belong above Mouse, above the Mongols, and then it's just a matter of, do we put them in B tier and move Furia up to A, or do we just leave FaZe up here with Na'Vi? I think I'm going to leave FaZe up here with Na'Vi and say they're, with the names on this team, I kind of, maybe it's a little biased, maybe Furia belonged to be here, but this is kind of how I'm shaping these ratings up to be, and we'll take a look at how the actual matchups are and lock in those picks. Of course, at 2 a.m., Valve finally updated the pick'em screen so I can actually get in here and lock these in. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, we've got Furia versus Pain as the first matchup. I'm going to have to go with Furia here. I think they're just the better of the two teams, but we'll see. It's definitely an interesting matchup. Not the most difficult matchup for either of these teams. I could see it going either way, but I think Furia has the edge. Then, of course, we have FaZe versus Mongols. Honestly, I could see the case for saying the Mongols are going to win, but FaZe 2-0'd them the last time they met in the last stage. So I think it's a pretty easy pick for FaZe Clan here, making it to the semis. A Furia versus FaZe semi-final is not what I think anyone was expecting, but I think that's probably the most realistic scenario. Na'Vi versus Vitality, absolutely Vitality all the way. I don't think Na'Vi's going to be able to upset them. We'll see. And then, of course, we've got Spirit versus Mouse. And Mouse actually gets the edge of Spirit, but I just think they have looked out of shape, and Spirit looked very strong. So I think we're going to end up seeing a Vitality versus Spirit semi, along with a FaZe versus Furia, which is, again, absolutely crazy. Out of this matchup, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, if Simple's in form, if FaZe are looking as good as they did, I mean, this is kind of a 50-50. I'm going to give the edge to FaZe. It's FaZe in the playoffs. And I mean, I can't believe I'm realistically saying I think FaZe is going to be in the grand final of a major, but I mean, against these teams, I think they can do it. I really do. And then, of course, Spirit versus Vitality, that's tough. I think Spirit have looked really strong, but you've got to give the edge to the Vitality. They look so strong, even though they dropped a map. Still got to go with Team Vitality here. And then, of course, we've got FaZe versus Vitality Grand Final. If you're a sane person, you're going to say Vitality's winning it all. But you know what? That's not me. Diamond Coin's already gone. We're saying that FaZe is winning the major. The fact that I actually realistically think they're going to be in the grand final blows my mind, but it kind of looks like they will be. So my pick is, I'm saying FaZe is winning the whole thing. It's insane, I know, but you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to lock these in. If we can still get gold coin off of a FaZe major victory, that's going to be pretty wild. So hopefully we can manage. If not, oh well, we already botched the diamond, but hey, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what your picks look like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.